Hello everyone, and welcome back to Hunter x Hunter Institute, the best channel for us Hunter x Hunter fans to discuss everything related to our favorite series. The Chimera Ant arc is probably one of the best arcs in the series, what with its amazing battles. And among the strong characters we saw fighting in this arc is Morel. He played a huge role in making sure that the Chimera Ants were defeated. He's physically strong, judging from his body and abilities. One of his strengths that stood out the most was his lung capacity. Have you seen other characters hold their breath for a very long time like he does? Aside from this, he's strong enough to be trusted deeply not only by his fellow professional hunters, but also someone with a high rank like Netero. He's also the master of Knuckles and Shoot, two strong professional hunters who also played important roles in the success of the Chimera Ant extermination. If your favorite character in the series is Morel, then this is your day. Because in this video, our main highlight is none other than Morel himself. Let's have a fun discussion about his personality and Nen abilities. This is going to be a blast. Not only are we going to talk about his strengths and abilities, but we'll also speculate if he'll be promoted from a single-star hunter to a triple hunter, considering how strong he is. I'm sure among us fans, there were many who were amazed by how cool Morel was. Don't you think he was one of the most manly characters in the series? Not only in appearance, but also in his attitude. He was definitely brave enough to willingly sacrifice himself to make sure that their operation would be successful. If you're one of us who thinks that it's only a matter of time before Morel gets the promotion that he deserves to be a triple-star hunter, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Among all the scenes that Morel was involved in, which one was your favorite part? Make sure to let us know in the comments down below. With that said, are you ready to start? Grab your favorite snack and enjoy the video till its end. 1. Morel Mackernasey. As you see on this design, Morel has quite the muscular body. He wears his signature pince-nez sunglasses and is probably known for carrying his large smoking pipe. Even though he's just a single-star hunter, he's among the very skilled ones. After all, Chairman Netero had chosen Morel himself to be one of the members of the Chimera Ant extermination team. We saw from his scenes just how capable he is. Not only is he physically strong, he's also quite intelligent. A lot of us fans would probably remember him for his amazing lung capacity, which is not something a normal human would possess. Before he became busy being part of the Chimera Ant extermination team, he was spending his days in the sea, working as a sea hunter. He's also Shoot and Knuckles' master. Aside from his two students, a lot of professional hunters trust and respect him. During the chairman election arc, not only was he nominated to be the next chairman, he also got a big number of votes. If you were one of the observant fans, you would have probably noticed that Morel's sunglasses never fell off his face, not even when he was fighting the Chimera Ants. Did you know he actually puts on his sunglasses even when he's underwater? Don't you think that's an amazing skill in itself? How's he able to do this? Do you think he has spent his life being very careful about not dropping his sunglasses? For him to be able to do this, he must have a great sense of balance. 2. Personality. His physical strength and intelligence are not the only respectable characteristics that he has. When it comes to his comrades and friends, he's caring and thoughtful about them, but that kindness actually extends to others who are not part of his team. We got to see this part of him during the scene where Colt raised a white flag and asked help to save their queen. Even though Nav was worried that the Chimera Ant was just tricking them, Morel gave Colt the benefit of the doubt and led him to where Netero was. A lot of fans were probably touched by how Morel listened seriously to Colt instead of just assuming that all of the Chimera Ants were evil. Some people might think that Morel is too naive for just trusting the enemy, but remember that he is a professional hunter and has a lot of experience being in combat. Another proof of this is when Nav lost all of his fighting spirit after facing Poof. Instead of judging his comrade for being weak, Morel gave him an understanding look and still respected Nav despite what happened. He's also known for trusting his comrades' words. When Killua left by himself and asked them to leave it up to him, Morel said, "Killua said to leave it up to him. If a trusted comrade says that, then it's a basic rule to keep quiet and just listen to him." This part definitely showed us his masculine side. Judging at how experienced he is when it comes to fighting, he's one of the very skilled professional hunters. He can confidently fight regardless of how difficult the situation is. We also see his humble side during the chairman election arc. When a lot of hunters voted him to be the chairman, he told them, "As a support type, I was selected for the Chimera Ant extermination team to support. I don't have the intention of becoming the chairman." That was cool, don't you think? Which part of his personality charmed you? Make sure to let us know in the comment section below. 3. Nen Ability. Morel is a manipulator. Using his Nen together with his large smoking pipe, he can freely manipulate the smoke coming from it. Among the characters in the entire series, his lung capacity is probably second to none. Not even to Gon, who seems to be able to hold his breath quite longer than the average human. His Nen ability is called Deep Purple. He uses his smoking pipe to smoke and then manipulates the smoke with his Nen. During his scenes, we got to see Morel transform his smoke into various shapes. Rabbits, people, ropes, ships. Don't you think he'd be able to turn his smoke into any shape that he wants? When he was fighting fighting Leo, he ended up being stuck in water. This would have been a very life-threatening situation to others, but not for Morel. By using his pipe as a snorkel to breathe underwater, he was able to increase the amount of carbon dioxide to win. He himself thinks that his ability is very useful and can be used in many situations. He has such confidence in his ability that he's even said, "I've never seen an ability as versatile as my Deep Purple." Now that we've introduced his Nen ability, let's jump into the type of techniques that he uses. Ability 1, Deep Purple. As the name implies, this ability allows Morel to use a deep purple kind of smoke to create smoke dolls, which he calls the Smoke Troopers. Then, he controls these smoke dolls to make them fight. He can make up to a total of 216 Smoke Troopers, which is a lot, don't you think? The lower the number of his Smoke Troopers are, the more accurately he can control them, which is to say, he'll be able to control more precisely 5 dolls compared to 200 dolls. Another Nen user's N won't be able to differentiate his Smoke Troopers from other human beings, which makes it quite useful for infiltrations. One more amazing thing about the Smoke Troopers is that Morel can actually make them talk. There seems to be no limitation to what kind of appearance his smoke dolls can take shape into. We saw this when Morel created a smoke doll that resembled Knuckle. You might remember Castro from the Heavens Arena, you know, one of the fighters who fought Hisoka. When Castro tried to create a duplicate of himself, he ended up wasting memory. If Morel is able to create more than 200 copies of himself or other people without wasting his memory, then don't you think that Morel is a very skilled Nen user? However, what would happen in the case that he loses his pipe? Doesn't this mean that he wouldn't be able to use any of his abilities because he wouldn't be able to create smoke? Let's talk about that again later. Ability 2, Smoky Jail. Using this, he's able to create a cage using his smoke. Once an enemy is inside the cage, they won't be able to escape by just using physical attacks. With this technique, Morel was able to successfully trap Poof, and even Yuppie's attack didn't really work against it. 4. Strengths. Now let's take a look at Morel's battles during their operation to exterminate the Chimera Ants. Morel versus Cheetu. After being teleported into a different space, Morel ends up being forced to play a game of tag with Cheetu. The only way for Morel to get out of that place was for him to tag Cheetu within 8 hours. Morel devised a plan and created a copy of himself using his smoke. Cheetu was none the wiser and didn't even notice that the real Morel had actually moved away from his original place. Morel won and Cheetu ended up unable to use that ability anymore. Morel versus Leo. Morel ended up in an underground chapel where he fought a rather confident Leo. To Morel's surprise, Leo activates an ability called Inamura. Morel was very angry because that ability belonged to his friend Grachan. Leo used different attacks on him like Tornov and Big Wall, but those were not enough to defeat Morel. Even though Morel ended up being submerged deep underwater, he just sat at the floor and used his smoke to poison Leo with carbon dioxide. Leo drowned and Morel left the chapel by swimming out of the water. Morel versus Poof. When the team invaded the palace, Morel succeeded into locking Poof inside the smoky jail. However, the royal guard managed to get out of the smoke by turning himself into the size of a very tiny microscopic bug. Poof pretended having gone away, leaving Morel with his guard down. Morel failed to notice that Poof got behind him and was not able to dodge his kick. In this fight, Poof managed to take away Morel's pipe. Morel versus Yuppie. Even though Poof stole away his pipe, Morel was still able to use the remaining 89 smoke troopers from his Deep Purple. He turned the smoke troopers into copies of Knuckle and helped him fight Yuppie. Even though he ended up almost being killed by Yuppie, he was a proud fighter who gave all his best in the battle and did not mind dying at the hands of the royal guard. But of course, his comrades did not allow him to die. Don't you think that Morel is very skilled and talented? Even without his pipe, he was able to continue fighting and help his comrades. We did see him fight with a lot of enemies in the Chimera Ant arc. Aside from these battles, he has a long record and a lot of experience as a professional hunter. Just think about it. His disciple Knuckle has more than 5,000 battles on record. If his student has fought as many times as this, then don't you think that as his master, Morel's record will be higher? The battle with the Chimera Ants and the royal guards was definitely not a walk in the park. When the team managed to infiltrate the palace, Morel was already mentally and physically exhausted. He only had about 35% of his strength left when he faced off with Poof and Yuppie. If that's about 1/3 of what he's really capable of, then don't you think that both Morel and Nov are half as strong as Netero in his prime years? During his battle with Poof, the royal guard tried to use the scales to manipulate Morel, but it didn't work at all. Morel was able to hold his breath for a long time, and so the scales did not affect him. If we're talking about military strength and experience, then Morel has the upper hand. Were you one of the fans who thought that Morel defeating Poof had a high possibility, considering the type of abilities that they have? If we look at the other royal guards, then Poof's ability would have been something that Morel could have defeated. Yuppie is a hybrid of both a demonic beast and a Chimera Ant, and specializes in combat. P2's strength is something that even made a powerful Nen user like Netero say, compared to me, he's stronger, even though P2 had just been born. Considering that he has the ability of defeating one of the king's royal guards, if he's on his best game, then we can say that Morel is a highly skilled hunter. In the world of Hunter x Hunter, one's ability is very important in winning a battle, but there are also other things that we need to put into consideration. There's the mental strength of the an end user. The state of mind of the character greatly affects their battle performance. Then it's also important to consider what kind of ability the opponent has. Someone's Nen ability might be useless on one person, but then be fully effective on another. There's also the combat experience, and then just how versatile one's Nen ability is. Considering how Morel has all these, then the possibility of him defeating even someone as powerful as Pitou is not non-existent. 5. Triple Hunter. What's the possibility of Morel being promoted from being a single-star hunter straight to a triple star? Won't you agree that his chances are very high? It's possible for a single-star hunter to get promoted to double star if their apprentice becomes a single-star hunter. Both Knuckle and Shoot, Morel's disciples, are very active in the operation to exterminate the Chimera Ants. It's very likely that they would be promoted as single-star hunters, which would mean that Morel will be promoted to being a double star. If we check the details on the hunter bylaws, we'll see that number 7 states that 3 stars will be given to a hunter who fulfills the 6 articles and has remarkable accomplishments in different fields. Don't you think that Morel checks all the boxes here? Morel did quite have a lot of success as a sea hunter, not to mention just how big of a role he played in exterminating the Chimera Ants. Normally, a hunter would take it step by step from being a single star to double star to triple star, but being involved in the battle against the Chimera Ants isn't so normal. Not only was Morel himself active in this battle, 2 of his disciples also played important roles. The 3 of them certainly achieved remarkable results. It wouldn't be really strange if Morel jumps to being a triple star hunter. Remember how Killua did on his second time taking the hunter exam? After defeating the other candidates and stealing all of their plates, he did not have to take the rest of the hunter exam. If Killua's abilities were recognized during this time, then don't you think that the Hunter Association would also take into consideration what Morel achieved in their battle with the Chimera Ants? Having done something big and important during their life-threatening operation to exterminate the ants, I'm sure that a lot of fans can't help but expect that Morel will get promoted as a triple hunter, and also take an active role in the Dark Continent arc. We're coming to the end of this video, but before that, tell us, did this video convince you that Morel will certainly become a triple hunter? If it did, then welcome to the family. You're already part of the Hunter x Hunter Institute. There's still so many things about Hunter x Hunter left for us to discuss. We'll certainly be doing that in future videos. So if you want to be a part of our journey as we explore the wonders of Hunter x Hunter through our videos, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. And with that, we reach the end of our video. Thank you for watching this until the end. See you on our next one.